Okay, now I've got a question. What is the height in feet and the light pattern of the aid to navigation marking Branford Reef? So where do we think Branford Reef might be? First thing we have to do, let's see if we've got this. Yeah, it's still on the chart. So, you know, a lot of these names are associated with points on land. So look, we know where Branford is, right? You know, Branford's a coast town. We know it's past New Haven, right? So you know, the big city here is New Haven, which you can see just off the edge of the map. So we come along and boom, there is Branford. So here's the town of Branford and here's Branford Reef, right out here. And so what do we see about Branford Reef? What's it say next to that? It says FL6 SEC 30 feet 8M. So what does that mean? First of all, what's the height in feet? Well, it almost always, when you've got something tall, it shows you both the height in feet and meters. So it says the height of the Branford Reef is 30 feet, right? So above high water, that will be 30 feet above high water, which is also 8 meters. It says, then what's the light pattern? Well, the light pattern is, it flashes 6 seconds. So we know that every 6 seconds, Branford Reef is going to flash. So you know what that light looks like then, right? You know that it is it's in a color red there, so it's going to be a red light, which makes sense because this is, you know, the sound. If you remember the red right returning, boats coming down the sound, you know, anything that's off to this side, so the marks for Long Sand Shoal and Faulkner Island and, you know, all of these reefs, they're all red, right? Same thing with 6 Mile Reef here, which is marked to south, because if you're a big boat, right, and you want to come down this way, you want to leave 6 Mile Reef to your starboard side. You want to go south of it. And there's this red-green here, and what's a red-green say? Well, a red-green says that it's you know, it's dual channel. You can go on either side of this, but the preferred side is to treat it as a red, which makes sense because this passage here is wider and also deeper with 120 and, you know, 118 feet than the passage where you'd have to go in between 6 Mile Reef and that RGTE. So back to the question. Branford Reef, flashing red, 6 seconds, and its height is 30 feet. Now the next question is, what's the latitude and longitude? So what's the latitude and longitude of Branford Reef? Now there's a couple of ways to do this, okay? And where I'm off kind of to the side of the camera, I'll show you maybe the first cheater way to do it, right? So let's look at the latitude and longitude. So one way to do this, you see there's always these big points, these big lines rather, right? So here's the intersection, right? And these are, for the most part, every 10 minutes of latitude and every 10 minutes of longitude. So, you know, this line here is the intersection of 41 degrees 10 minutes north latitude by 72 degrees 40 minutes west longitude. That's this intersection here. But this intersection is not that close to this. What's the closest intersection? Well, this is the closest intersection to it. And so what is that intersection? It is 41 degrees 10 minutes north, that we know, because we just came across on this one. And it is, again, usually these are 10 minutes apart. 72 degrees 50 minutes is the west longitude. So here's what we can do. If we take this point, if you want to be really, really safe in the way you do it, is you put your parallel ruler along the line of latitude and you lift it up until it's right on the mark, okay? That way you know exactly what the shortest distance is, and then you take your pointer, you put it on the mark, and you adjust it until it's on the latitude line, on the longitude line. And then you carry that same distance up or down and you measure it, which tells us here, we'll do the longitude first, that it is 45, 46, 47, 48. So it's 48.4. 48.4. So it's 72 degrees, 48.4 minutes of west longitude. Okay, so we do the same thing with the we do the same thing here on the latitude. So get this parallel, right? Walk it over. You can see it doesn't quite get all the way there. So if it doesn't get all the way there, what do? We walk this side up, hold that side, and move it again. Okay? So now we're going to want to measure how far north it is. So again, you put it on the dot, right on the mark. Bring this down until it touches the latitude line, which will give us the ability to measure longitude. And you carry it over to the side of the chart, which you can't see, slightly off, but that is so 10, 11, 12, 13.3. So it's 41 degrees, 13.3 degrees north latitude. And that is the latitude and longitude of the aid to navigation marking Branford Reef.